Put it this way. I'm not currently an athlete. 2019's been a busy year, you know, lots has been going on. We got a house, we got a dog. I've been working really hard on these Minecraft YouTube videos. I've been working hard on the filming channel videos too. And that means I just haven't been able to get to the gym so often. I've also almost exclusively been living off of pizzas, burgers and sweets for the past couple months, but let's not mention that. It's clearly time for change, okay? So I'm feeling motivated, alright? I'm going to put on my gym shorts, I'm going to put on my workout gear, I'm going to get my Fitbit, and I'm going to build a gym in Minecraft. That seems like a good step, doesn't it? I mean, surely that is a step in the right direction, eh? Yeah? Yeah, it is. I can already feel the weight dropping off me, right? And this is the area that we're working with here. Now, all the gyms that I've ever been to kind of have like a turnstile system on the way in where you have to scan your gym card and then the turnstiles will move. So I'm going to try my best to recreate that in Minecraft. Not entirely sure how I'm going to do it just yet, but I actually think I've come up with something relatively smart here. Now, it doesn't... You could put any item on the inside of here, but... that is kind of like a turnstile. Look, I can't currently get through this door, okay? And then I've laced in my block and the turnstile shifts around and then it does this. I think that system could be a little bit smarter, maybe. There's no way to kind of swipe items in Minecraft, that's the thing. Except there sort of is, and this system's considerably less bulky. So say, for example, this is my ID card. I walk up to it, I swipe it across my thing, I pick up my ID card, that allows me access to the gym. I think this is the way to go, and that looks sweet. Especially now that I'm fully set up with a receptionist and motivational messages on the door. I mean, you know, he definitely doesn't have much weight on his face. Look, lovely bone structure, you can see the cheekbones, everything. Anyway, now that that's done, it's time to move on to the gym itself, and I'm thinking the first thing that we build is the free weights area, which is going to go somewhere over here. So let's get ourselves set up with a handful of benches. I would actually say if we have a bench here, then we can have like a free weights bench here, but this one is going to be the one that's designed specifically for bench pressing. And I have this stupid idea for how this could potentially work, and I really do hope it works as well as it does in my head. About 10 minutes later... oh, that looks so ridiculous. I mean, I do wish we could get some arm movement in here. My guy looks very chilled about this whole situation, doesn't he? He's like, yep, this is what's happening. Oh, that is totally ridiculous. Right, bench pressing like an absolute champion. Okay, let's try something slightly different. I don't know if this one's funny or... I don't know which one I prefer out of the two. I'm also curious, how much do you reckon 2 cubic meters of slime actually weighs? Because, I mean, 2 cubic meters of anything has got to weigh quite a lot. 2 cubic meters of water is 2,000 kilograms, so this has got to be a pretty decent squat. I mean, this is just amazing, isn't it? It's almost as if the anvil was designed to be a weight. Look at that weight rack back there. That couldn't be more perfect. Anyway, we need more things in our gym. Alright, how about we have a section for things like yoga mats? So we've got a few of those, I would say 3 of them. And in one of them, I'm going to try and get this set up so that we can do some press-ups. Not 100% certain how I'm going to do it, but I like the idea. Alright, this could be the good option. I mean... that is the most ridiculous looking thing ever. But it kind of is. I am kind of doing sort of press-ups. I mean, don't get me wrong, if I saw someone doing that at the gym, I would look at them very confused and then probably walk out quickly. Never to return to that gym again. But that worked. So with those 3 in place, we now have this big gap here, which is our only space left for more equipment. And I've been trying my best to think of good things that we can do that are sort of convincing using redstone. One of them is battle ropes, so you know, the ropes that you kind of flail around. And then also treadmills, okay? They're both doable. I'm just... oh, which one would be more fun to build? I would say battle ropes. If you don't know what they are, I'd suggest looking them up because my description of them being flailed around probably isn't great. And I think this should hopefully work. So if I just chuck some items into this hopper here... I don't know if that is quite what I expected. I mean, it... So if you only look at the end rods, okay? If you only look at the end rods, then that has worked. But the pistons are quite distracting, aren't they? I've clearly not connected this lever to anything. Alright, treadmills it is, I think. And this is one monstrous treadmill. It looks absolutely enormous, but it is pretty cool, and it works well. I mean, I'm not having to work that hard on it. I mean, look, I can do it backwards, I can do it sideways. I'm a bit of a professional on this treadmill stuff, but it does function, and it is working. So I would say that is all of our gym equipment done. Now we have to add in all of the details that happen in a gym. First off, we need some thumping techno. That, as I think is quite clear, was the first time I've ever said that sentence, ever. And probably the last time that I'll ever say that sentence too. I think this is a pretty good impression of what generally gets played at my gym. Something a little bit like this. I mean, who listens to this sort of stuff? But seriously, that is the sort of music that gets played at my gym. Seriously. Does anyone listen to it outside of the gym? I'm confused. Anyway, I'm glad that it's installed, but I'm also glad that it is now switched off. We have this area up here that I really need to work out what we're going to do with. And one thing that I have just realised is that I haven't actually given anyone any way to get up here. Maybe we could have a staircase there? I mean, that could be the move, because I intend on putting semi-non-gym things up there. So I would say thing number one needs to be some form of coffee shop. Now, I'm trying to think how I could potentially do this in, like, a cool redstone-y way with absolutely no space whatsoever to work with. Well, I guess we need some way to get in and out, so we can have a trapdoor off to one side. But that's not really that redstone-y, is it? I mean, that just allows us to get in. And it doesn't work. That was by far the most embarrassing thing I think I've ever done in a redstone video. Okay, now that it's actually on a solid block, this does function. What else? We've got some brewing stands, obviously, for brewing up coffee and things. I mean, it's kind of tough. I'm not really much of a coffee drinker. I guess we could have some bits up there. I mean, we could... I would say this is probably good enough. So we've got some nice details and things. We've got a little villager who's doing all of the coffee making. This is a nice little coffee shop that you would have on the inside of the gym. Right, okay, so we can move on from that one, and we can actually work on something that I think is pretty important up here, which is the sauna, the steam room. Now, I need to work out how on earth we are going to kind of segment this from the rest of the build. I mean, this feels very bootleg. Okay, so we can remove that. We could actually install like a full wall going all the way across here. And then we need to work something out because we have a little bit of space here. Oh, this is perfect. Okay, so we can actually use this gap here to install some of the bits. And then we can have that as the entrance. This is good. And then we need to work out what we're going to do up at the top here. Now, I'm not quite sure how I feel about this idea just yet, but I am going to play around with it. Because the way that the build is working, it just didn't quite look that good. Unless I do something like this. I would say that looks pretty cool. That looks pretty cool. So if we fill this in now with white glass... is that a bit messy? We might have to have a glass block there, maybe? Is that going to improve things, or is that going to make it even worse? Oh, that makes it even worse. Oh, that's so frustrating, because that was almost a good solution. But it turns out a really good solution is actually just chucking a block in there. I honestly thought that would look horrible, but I thought I'd give it a go before I destroyed it all. And that makes it work. This is actually quite a cool looking build. Now, in terms of the inside of this thing, I mean, we don't really need to do too much. Like, we can just have... Oh, I guess we could run... We could go all the way across here. So we could have, like, a super sauna. I mean... How much more do we really need to do? How much more happens in saunas? I don't really go in them. I always find them a bit strange, and I don't really like being hot. Whoa, that's weird. You can't see smoke through glass. There has to be a use for that or something. Anyway, before I get distracted with all sorts of ideas, this place is now done. We have finished the construction of the gym, and I have to say, I'm actually really impressed with this thing. I think it's worked out really well. We've got turnstile systems, we have all sorts of different workout machines, which every single one of them is absolutely hilarious. We have various different coffee shops, we've got saunas, everything like that, and the actual building itself has ended up looking pretty cool. Like, this looks like a legitimate gym. I'm proud of myself on this one. Anyway, I do hope that you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya. This is one of those ideas for a video that just came to my head, and I just started building it straight away. And it was a ridiculous idea for a video now looking back. I mean, how silly did some of those workout machines look? That was probably some of the funniest movements I've ever seen my Minecraft character make.